Thank you very much to Hayley Asson for becoming a member of the Kinetic Rugby League channel, and thank you to the Sainted Jester for upgrading his membership as well. If you'd like to become a member, you can do for as little as £1 a month by clicking the join button below this video. But thank you to all members of the Kinetic Rugby League channel. But let's get on with the video. Starting in 12th place, I have the Salford Red Devils. They're continuing to go through this awful situation, but they're also continuing to work hard under these terrible circumstances. They had Sam Stone refuse to play on the day of the game at the weekend, which was a very unfortunate situation to put his teammates in. But one thing that we keep seeing from Salford are solid patches defensively. They can string a few defensive sets together, even on their own goal line. Usually the pressure builds and it's too much for them, and they eventually concede. We're continuing to see Salford work hard, even under these circumstances, which is at least a positive for the fans. But yeah, Salford Red Devils, they stay in 12th. On to 11th place, and moving down one, I have Catalans Dragons. Absolutely stinking up Super League right now. They cannot attack and they cannot defend. Pretty sad state to be in at the moment. If Steve McNamara didn't know the answer to fixing it, and Joel Tompkins doesn't, then I certainly don't. But the weird thing is, even if they aren't being coached to a high enough level, surely there are enough experienced, senior and quality players in that side to actually be able to improve something. Not even to just fix it, but at least make some progress, surely. But as of right now, they're such a poor side and they move down to 11th. Then we have 10th place. Moving up one this week, I have Huddersfield Giants, who put in a cracking effort against Wigan at the weekend. Honestly, I thought they were the better side. They looked quite comfortable defensively as well. When Wigan did try to spread the ball, the Giants did really well to get across quickly and plug any potential gaps. They were actually really well disciplined, despite what the penalty count might tell you. I think the ref was very unfair with a lot of the calls, and I think Huddersfield were actually quite well disciplined just from my own eyeballs. In possession, they looked really organised, and some of their carries were excellent, from Bibby, from King, and especially Greenwood. But a lot of others did a great job making meters and getting offloads. Just heartbreaking for them at the end, though, but a good start to getting to where they'd like to be. So Huddersfield Giants move up one into 10th. Next up, in 9th place, I have the Castleford Tigers. They appeared to be in control for most of their game at the weekend against Hull FC, and like Huddersfield, they didn't allow too many opportunities defensively, and they looked quite comfortable in that area. In possession, they didn't look that quick with the ball, but they'd either move the ball really effectively, allowing them to play in the pockets of space, creating line breaks and scoring tries, or we'd see a few individual moments when it looked like nothing was on, whether it be from Lewis Senior, Dejan Assi, or Tom Amone, for example. Now, the score was unexpected, but honestly, really well deserved. I think Cass did a fantastic job at the weekend, so they'll stay where they are in 9th. On to 8th place, and moving down one, I have Warrington Wolves. The efforts in the Challenge Cup final were really solid, and we've seen a few solid efforts throughout the season, but there is such a lack of consistency with Warrington this year. Wire looked really weak through the middle against Leeds, really easy to push back, and seemingly incapable of making any significant meters through the middle as well, which was so evident at the weekend. Warrington have been dealing with a lot of changes throughout the squad due to injury, especially in the spine, but the fact that the attack looks so flat and so predictable every single week is really concerning, and on the edges defensively just looks awful. So Warrington moved down one into 8th. Next up, 7th place, and moving up one, I have St Helens. Beating Salford by a significant scoreline is no cause for celebration, but they at least look like they're starting to get on the right path with their attack, which struggled a little while ago. They were still miles off the likes of Hull KR and Leeds from their recent games, but they dominated games against teams that you would normally expect them to at least be comfortable in. Getting Cal Felt back might help them strengthen up their backline in both attack and defence, and I think they're capable of competing with most teams in the league, but they're a little inconsistent right now, and what kind of Saints team turns up on the day, we don't really know. But as of right now, St Helens move up one into 7th. Then we move on to the top half of this list, and in 6th place, moving down one, I have Wakefield Trinity. They've not had one boring game all season, but I do think that this was one of their worst performances of the year. And it still wasn't even that bad, to be honest. I just think it wasn't one of their best. They didn't complete sets well enough, in my opinion. They made too many errors and they gave away too many penalties. I also think they lost the battle through the middle and struggled to slow down a lot of Leigh's forwards. They had their moments in possession when they cleaned things up in the second half, but I think they were let down by their first half performance. I don't think they really recovered during the second well enough, in my opinion. I still think there was too many elements where they were second best to Leigh. I don't think they were outworked. I think they were just outplayed. But Wakefield Trinity moved down 1 into 6th. Next up, 5th place, and moving up 1, I have Leigh Leopards. They were clearly the better side for me against Wakefield, as mentioned for Wakefield's review. Leigh's carries were great through the middle, from Liu, Offengawi, Holton, and especially Mulhern. They really set a platform for Pape and Davis, getting them quick play the balls or getting offloads for the backs as well for them to eat up meters in the second phases. Defensively, they looked quite solid as well. Wakefield, they do like to move the ball around with a lot of pace, but I think Leigh did a really good job of limiting the meters towards the edges that Wakefield can make and the number of points overall throughout the game. They felt like they were comfortably the better side, but I can't really explain why the scoreline wasn't as comfortable as their performance. It was a good game to watch and a good performance as well, so Leigh move up 1 into 5th. On to 4th place, and still just in 4th, I have Hull FC. Now, there was such a lack of control from Hull against Cass, and their forwards didn't seem that effective at the weekend. That was one area I really thought they'd dominate in, and they were stuck in a back and forth battle for long periods throughout the game, but they didn't have as much of an effect or impact overall as we'd normally see from them, or at least expect against what Castleford have shown through the middle. Even in moments when they found themselves in great field position, they didn't move the ball around as effectively or cleanly as we've seen recently. They were without Will Price this week, who's been so important to their attack, so there's valid reasons for the drop-off this week in possession. But there was a decent effort at a comeback. It took them a bit too long, really. It took them to the 70th minute to really show that kind of energy and intent to make the fight back. And the fact that they beat Leigh just a few rounds ago is one of the reasons why they stay above them for now, as well as the 34-0 win versus Catalans last round as well, and the competitive effort against Leeds the week before. So Hull FC just about stay in 4th. Next up, 3rd place, and still in 3rd I have Leeds Rhinos. They've been a quality defensive side this year, which has been the difference maker in a lot of games. Now their attack is okay. It's not the best, but it's not terrible, which sometimes means that a game is closer than they'd like it to be, but usually their defence steps up in the big moments and is the difference maker over the course of 80 minutes. This week against Warrington, it looked so easy for them to score tries and almost walk in for every single one of them. They saw gaps in the defence and executed really well. Their forwards dominated from start to finish and never looked like letting up. They are genuine grand final contenders for me, and I don't think anyone wants to play them right now, not even Wigan, not even Hull Kingston Rovers. So as of right now, Leeds Rhinos stay in 3rd. Finally, the top 2, which has been extremely close over the last few weeks, with Wigan in 1st and Hull KR in 2nd. Now for my round 14 power rankings, in 2nd place, Wigan Warriors, moving down 1 this week, which means in 1st I have Hull Kingston Rovers moving up 1. Wigan's performance versus Huddersfield was really disappointing. Without Bevan French, they looked quite flat and they lacked a lot of creativity. But Jay Field stepped up in massive moments and Jack Farriman had himself a decent game, at least offensively. Defensively, I think they allowed Huddersfield to make a lot of post-contact meters and they were easily dragged back on a lot of occasions. I think Jack Farriman didn't have a great day defensively, especially on the goal line. Neither did Cruz Leeming through the middle of the park. He was the major target for a lot of the Huddersfield Giants forwards. But Wigan as a team, they stayed in the game, they took the moments, they didn't crumble under pressure, and they got the win with 2 seconds to go. Throughout the game, they did lack a bit of energy, they didn't look as comfortable or as dominant as they normally do, which does separate them from KR this week, finally, because I was waiting for a slip-up from Wigan to be able to switch them around, which came this round. So they moved down 1 into 2nd. So finally, in 1st place and moving up 1 this week, for the first time since round 6, I have Hull Kingston Rovers. Catalans have been awful in the last few weeks, losing 40-0, 48-0 and 34-0. But this week, coming up against the Hull KR side, who've just played an intense game at Wembley, playing a Dragons side that had a week off, they go and beat them 68-6. Now, of course, the Dragons, they went down to 11 men at one point. They also had a red card, but Hull KR were already in firm control of the game to begin with. In the last 5 Super League rounds, they've conceded just 22 points, which is just 4.4 points per game. And they've been in complete control. The Challenge Cup final wasn't great, but this is Super League power rankings. They've been knocking on the door of first place for a long time now, but this week, based on their performances compared to Wigan's, they will take the top spot finally. So that's going to be it for this video. If you guys have your own power rankings, let me know in the comment section down below, or if you change anything, let me know as well. But as always, if you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like. It does help to get the video out there to more people. Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with more Kinetic Rugby League content. And if you'd like to join the Discord, there's an invite link in the description down below. And if you'd like to become a member and support the work that I do for as little as £1 a month, you can do by clicking the join button below this video. But that's going to be it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.